Hello, thank you so much for popping into my YouTube channel and having a look at this video. Today I have Marcus. Now he was my first ever YouTube video here doing a past life, and today he's kindly agreed to be a guinea pig again, and he is going to do quantum jumping. So I hope you all enjoy this. Marcus, are you ready?
I'm ready. Apologies to everybody. I am laid flat on my back, so I'm going to go straight into this. So it's not the most amazing look at my body, but there you go.
Don't
It is
worry
what it
about it.
is.
No one's
So
interested in that. They just want to see how this
we're
session
going
works.
into the quantum, so the body doesn't make any difference anyway.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, so when you're ready, and on the other side of this wall is a life you're going to jump into. This is the life of your twin self. The life you're going to jump into is all about abundance. It is wealth, but it's more than that, so much more than that. It's about having abundance of health, abundance of friends, abundance of family, abundance of love and caring. When you go in through this door, in a moment, you're going to step onto a pathway on the other side that's going to lead to the most amazing house that your twin self lives in. And you're going to see yourself walk up to that door. So I want you now to see yourself put your hand on that door, open that door, step through that door, step onto the path on the other side, walk along that path, and become very aware that you're at the front of your twin self in front of their house. And you can see the most beautiful house. Are you there?
Yeah, I am. I just wanted to mention that I've got a massive headache and feel really nauseous. Isn't that interesting?
That's because you're jumping into another universe, into another life. So that's fine. We're just going to calm that down. So before you go into that house, I want you just to take a nice deep breath in and out, and notice that that headache and nausea is disappearing. And as that slides away, just see yourself walking up to the front of that house, and you're going to knock on the door.
Joe, can I
And
just mention something? Because this is a bit weird. And this might be part of it. Because imagine that what I need to look at is to my left.
yeah,
It's like my vision is only seeing it peripherally. And that was the same when I was stood at the door. It's like
that's
everything I need to look at is to the left, but I can't, it's as if I can't move my body that way. It's weird.
okay. That's okay. Well, we'll just go with that. So
Okay.
just keep going with this. Just imagine that you've knocked on the door, whether you can see it or not, and that your twin self is coming to the door. Twin Marcus is opening the door. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is what he looks like. So I want you to just explain, what does your twin Marcus look like?
It's interesting. I can't see the face.
No,
Um,
you don't
I
need
know.
to.
So,
No, it's you.
yeah. So what came up, what came through just a second ago, as you said that, is finally you've made it here,
Yeah.
and the energy that I get is of a really not kind of slim, but not kind of buff or anything like that, just like a normal slim person that just looks or feels completely healthy. So I can kind of see, but I can't see, if that makes sense.
That's fine.
And
And
just has a really friendly, non-stressy energy. Just like
lovely.
one of those people that you just go, it's like the kind of person you want to hate, but they're just so amazing you
Yeah.
can't hate them. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the Tom Hanks type person.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And also, if you can't see properly, you're going to have information dropping into your mind. So you just use that information
Yeah.
as well. So go with that. So your twin self, Marcus, he's opened the door and you can see him, and he's told you finally you've made it. So he's been waiting for this moment. So He's just coming up to you. He's embracing you. He's so happy to see you. And he's inviting you into the house. And as you step into the house, it feels incredible. It's the most amazing house. It's decorated exactly how you would like it. It's just beautiful. And he's taken you into his kitchen. And it's an open plan kitchen with bifold doors. And you can look out into the garden, which is just amazing. And he's making you a coffee from his Italian coffee maker. And it feels good to be there. And he's just chatting, and you just feel at ease immediately. And he's made you that coffee. And now he's saying to you, we're going to go down. I'm just going to show you downstairs. And as you go downstairs, there's the most amazing gym and meditation area. And he's just showing you around the house. I want you to ask him, and you just ask in your head, and you just tell me what he says. Just ask him to take you to the office so you can see where he works. Is he taking you there? Okay. So when you arrive at that office, it's just incredible. And he asks you to take a seat, and it's so comfortable and calming. The energy in there feels amazing. You're both sitting down, you've both got your coffee. And I want you to ask him some questions. Now I'm going to start asking the questions, and you're going to ask him what I'm asking you to ask him. But then you're going to start taking over from that, and you'll ask your own questions. But first of all, I want you to ask him, how did you become so healthy, at a healthy weight? How did that happen? So you ask in your head, and you tell me what he said.
I took all the stress out of my life.
Okay. Okay. And ask him how he managed to do that.
By just having faith that things work out, and just following your passion and following your dreams, and just looking towards happiness.
Okay. That's excellent. So I want you to ask him now. Ask him about work. What's he doing for work, and how many hours is he actually working?
So he doesn't work,
Okay.
because work is defined as something you don't
Ah,
like doing.
nice. So how does he earn his money?
So his main stuff that he's doing now, or the main thing that he does, is that he's an angel investor. So he seeks out people who have a dream, a passion, and a purpose, and something that they want to do.
Yeah.
And what he does is he coaches and mentors them on how they can make that dream happen. But he
Okay.
has one question that he asks to anybody that he invests in. And
Okay.
that one question he's saying is, if I help you, how will this dream enhance humanity?
Okay. Excellent. I want you to ask him, how does he go about getting clients, especially from when he first started?
So he says he does a lot of travel. I'll just mention this because this
Yeah.
is quite interesting. When we were doing that tour, he apologized and said, "Sorry, I couldn't take you to the main house, but welcome to this house, because this is the Italian house. So
Right.
the actual house is a very open plan, modern one. So it wasn't the house that I've envisaged before
Yeah.
when I've done other stuff. It's completely different. Similar kind of feel, but a different layout. But it looks over a massive valley, and there's a beautiful infinity pool. It's just stunning. And the office looks out over this kind of valley, which has got houses and stuff on it. So think like Hollywood Hills, but in Italy.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more classy.
Oh, amazing.
So it's like that. Yeah. So go back to your question. Sorry, I was focusing on the kind of the I
That's
got distracted by the view.
so asking him how did he get clients, especially when he started out? How did he get to the point where he knew he could have clients and they would just come to him?
So what he's saying is that it's really weird because what I'm getting is in this life, he managed. There's like I can't get that far back in it, and he's saying that's really difficult to explain because he said it was only when he shifted his heart to just
Yeah.
follow what he truly believed in. But it's as if you imagine that this is a quantum life to the left. So if you imagine that was a line where
Yeah.
I'm in the middle and stuff is rubbish, goes even worse to the right and even better to the left.
Yeah.
This feels like it's here. So it's like to the left, but one stage forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's a quantum jump, but a quantum jump then forward as well.
Yes. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's had. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to kind of pull that back and go to the left to see what the life was before that. That's kind of he's doing that as well to go right. This is where we're going. And so what he's saying is he said it's all about the people that you surround yourself with. And what he said is you have already started to experience that, and you're having the experience now at this moment, which is true, of the energy of the people that you want to be around that are like what he is, very loving, very open, very wanting to help people, but not doing that in a lack mindset way because he knows his value.
Yes.
As opposed to those people who want to suck the energy out of you like a battery.
Yeah.
So they're it's that abuse type. So what he's saying is what I learned was to not let people abuse me in regards to my love, my knowledge. So it's nothing tangible in regards to a tactic or information. It's literally about surrounding yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
And he said that's the biggest challenge. And once he'd got that moving, everything else started to open up because those people were of the same ilk, that they were all about support, vision, and they understood what abundance is, that there is an abundance of everything in the world.
Yeah.
But what he's saying is the misconception is that the world is built based on telling people that isn't available. So that's why his mission and this angel investing thing is about saying to people, so his thing now is about creating networks where people can go on this journey. So instead of being poor and then you want to jump directly into being like super rich billionaire, that's not possible. So he said the way that he works is he's building little tribes and then letting them go off and do their thing, but they all have this principle. So the principle that he says to build abundance is how whatever you're making or whatever you're doing, how does that make the world a better place?
Okay.
So that's the message. Whatever you're doing, how does that make the world a better place? So you don't need to focus on anything else other
Yeah,
than what you
that.
say and what you do, how does that make the world a better place?
Perfect. I love it. Okay. Can you ask him, has he got any hot tips he can give you for you to start moving forward and getting this abundance in your life?
Yeah, the last phrase that I just said. Whatever
Okay.
you do, say, or act upon, how is that making the
Yeah.
world a better place?
Excellent.
And
Okay.
what he's saying is, unfortunately, I can't give you the advice on how to do this because the journey will teach you the lessons.
Okay.
But what he's saying is just be aware of that one phrase, that when you say something, when you act on something, that's the phrase that you need to keep in mind
Yeah.
at all times with anything that you're doing. It doesn't matter whether it's personal, whether it's for somebody else. It doesn't matter. Whatever action, inaction, thought, or thing that you say is, the question you need to ask every single time if you get stuck is, how is this making the world a better place?
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds incredible. Now then, I've asked him everything that was on my mind. I want you to have this opportunity to ask him anything you want to. You can tell me what that is or not. That's entirely up to you.
See, there's a question that I want to ask, but
Yeah.
then again, I don't want the answer. Does that make sense? So what I want to say is in this lifetime. So I'm going to ask it
Yeah, go ahead.
because I can kind of see I can not see, but I can feel this smile, and I know what you're going to ask me. So ask it anyway.
Yeah.
In this lifetime, am I going to bring that same feeling of abundance in? And he's laughing and saying, well, that's up to you.
Okay.
So it's as though I'm showing you what is available and what is possible, but I can't tell you how that looks in your lifetime and how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that that is the guiding principle that has got him to where he has got to. And it's what he's also saying is that when you come up against any challenges,
Yeah.
ask the same question to the person who is challenging you. So if they're doing a certain thing a certain way, the question that you need to ask them is the same question: is what is it that you are doing that is making the world a better place? Because it may well be that they will give you information that you haven't thought about.
Writing notes because I think this is amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, I want you to thank your twin self for that and just ask him if there's anything else he needs to show you or tell you.
What he's saying is, and this is actually true, I know that you. Oh, right, okay. So what he's saying is, the reason why you came down that road in the desert,
Yeah.
and the reason why it looked as though it was a Mexican kind of thing,
Yeah.
was actually to trick you. And he said, because you didn't expect to be in this house in Italy.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if you go in the Mexican desert, you don't expect to go through a door and then be in Italy, right?
No.
So what he's saying is that keep believing in that dream that you will have the second home in Italy, because you can make that manifest in this lifetime. So that's one of my vision board things, is to have
Yeah.
a home in Italy.
Excellent.
So that is possible. He's saying that is the one thing that is possible in this life, that you'll have a home in the UK, you'll also have a second home in Italy, in a beautiful place where you can eat beautiful food and you can just relax and enjoy the sun. And it's kind of your your place where you can bring family and just have fun. And so it's kind of your playground place where you can go.
Yeah, sounds amazing. Okay. Is there anything else before you go? Because you need to leave him now.
No.
Okay. So I want you to thank him for yourself, thank him for showing up for me and being able to show you all of this. And then he's going to lead you to the front door. Open that door. He's just going to embrace you and thank you as well. And see yourself back on that path, back walking along that pathway, back to that wall, back through that door. Take one last glance as you bid him farewell. Be back in that garden. Go to that seated area. Find yourself sitting down in a really comfortable chair. And as you're sitting in that chair, your feet are on the ground, and feel yourself being grounded back into your life in 2023. And I'm going to count down from 5 to 1. And when I get to 1, you're going to open your eyes. So we're at 5, 4, starting to become aware. 3, 2, fully aware. 1, when you're ready, open your eyes. Just take a moment. We're still recording, so I just want to ask you a few questions for YouTube.
Yeah. Oh.
You okay? So
yeah, that was a bit about, to be honest, it was a bit, that was, I wasn't expecting the headache. That's it's still there a little bit. I'll get rid of that in a second. But
yeah.
I tell you what, I didn't expect was, as I was walking away from that, felt quite emotional.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was really weird. Yeah.
That was you, and you can see the potential of you because you've been in that life. That's showing you when you're quantum jumping, that's just a part of your soul spark, whatever you want to call it, in another universe, living the life that you want, and it's showing you that you can do it. And that's why it feels emotional, because he's telling you you can do it. He's told you that. He said, you know, he's not going to tell you how to get clients and stuff. He was really clear on that. For him, when you want to live an abundant life, not just wealth, but abundance in everything, you have to have the right values. And that is the lesson that I picked up from this.
I'll tell you what I think was interesting is that when you hear a lot of people, they talk about the way that you bring wealth and abundance into your life, right? It's all about service. Everybody talks about that. So we reframe a lot of that where we think, well, I've got to give my services away. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. And what I thought was really interesting in that is that although I've kind of heard that phrase before, it emotionally connected more in regards to when you're doing something, whatever it is. And this was what was interesting. Whatever it is, whatever thought, judgment, whatever it is that you're doing, thinking, feeling, or acting, ask. It's not about it's that how will this serve the world?
Yeah.
And it was a connection with an emotion which was that phrase I've said and heard in different ways, but not exactly like that. But it was actually, as we know, it's that vibrations emotion, right? So although I knew it, I've never felt what that felt like. Yeah, that was,
And I think as you ponder that now, you'll start to see where you can bring that and put that in action. And what he did say was that the clients will come, you know, when he took the stress out of his life, followed his heart, that's when things started to fall into place. And I think that's a really good lesson for all of us. You know,
and we know that, right? But I think
it's hard to do, isn't it? It's so hard to do.
Yeah, and we know that whenever you want to manifest stuff, we know that the more you focus on the thing you want, the more the universe sees lack. Therefore, you don't bring it in.
Yes. And did you notice when I said, ask him what he does for work, he said, I don't work, because he doesn't see it as work.
Yeah.
It's like that light bulb, isn't it? Ding.
Yeah, which again, although that's a phrase that I've heard before, again, it was as if, you know, those quantum, when you get a download.
Yeah.
It was as if that was when those little phrases were like little downloads.
Yes. Yes.
Which I knew, but I hadn't felt.
It's the feeling that's the important part. Yeah. Yeah.
So everything that he said, I got, but it's the
Yeah.
first time I've kind of felt it in that way.
Yeah. And I love the fact that he said about the path in the desert and stuff, the Mexican door was because you wasn't expecting it. I love that. It's like he knew.
I was like, so I'll tell you what I felt this came from, right? One of the things that I wanted to do with Harry, my eldest, or one of the things I want to do is I'd like to do Route 66, right? I'd like to do that. Yes. And one of the things that we talked about, Harry and I, was we'd love to go to like the south of America and go to Texas. And actually, I've got a client in Austin, Texas. So Austin, Texas keeps coming up. And there's little things about Austin, Texas that keeps coming up, right? And I love Mexican food. So I was like going, oh, this clearly is the fact that abundant life is in America. Because if we look at where most of the big transformation people are and that space, it's all in America, and it's in LA and all. And in a way, although, you know, this is nice, I was like, I'm a bit pissed off because I want to do something different, right? I don't want to be in that crowd. I do want to be in that crowd, but not in that crowd, if you know what I mean. I want to find my own path. And it was like, oh, this is interesting. This is kind of, all right, yeah, I kind of half expect this. And then as I walked through the door, and again, my vision of the house that I would live in wasn't necessarily this vision, but what it was very modern, lots of glass, marble. So if you imagine ultra modern, but also Italian chic. So it was kind of on a hillside. So it fitted into the landscape. So it wasn't some horrendous, horrible carbuncle, but it was very open plan. And it wouldn't be a house that I would particularly avoid myself. But then when I went into the office felt a little bit more snug. It felt a little bit more held. So you had all this openness downstairs and this massive infinity pool that looked over the valley, which was an entertaining space to be connected, family. It was one of, you know, dogs running around, all that sort of stuff. Quite really high energy. And then the office, which was in the center of the house, was modern but slightly darker, but with these sort of wooden window shutters that looked out. So it felt a little bit more older, a little bit more warmer, a little bit more like a snug. So there was light, but there was a contrast of light and dark within there.
Yeah, and do you know what that tells me, Marcus? And that brings me so much joy, because you said it's not the house that you imagined it would be, which means you didn't imagine it. It wasn't in your imagination. It means that you
there was
into your twin self's life. You did not imagine it because it wouldn't be.
I never thought that, because right. So yes, an infinity pool would be. I have never imagined. In fact, I would go as far to say, is if you were to say to me, is that the type of house that you would live in right now, as me? You know, would you live in that really ultra modern, quiet house, or would you have a nice house in Cumbria? Right, I'd probably choose the house in Cumbria right now. All right.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's why I felt a little bit nauseous and a little bit sick, because it was kind of, it wasn't a disappointment because it was beautiful, right? But it's I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, it was a bit of a. Hey, we've just come through there. And remember I said the door was a very kind of, so the wall was like an old hacienda type thing, and it was a big Mexican. The door was very much like the one we did in the first session. So it was like so if you imagine in Mexico, you've got these big wooden doors and they've got like metal with the big rivets in it. It was like that. So I was expecting I was going to walk into some sort of Mexican kind of hacienda, a bit like Zorro, you know, that was the kind of thing that I was expecting. So as soon as I opened that door, And it was as if, you know, I said I couldn't turn. It was as if I was looking, going, what the fuck's that?
Well, Marcus,
That makes sense.
I am delighted that you got all that information, that you had that connection. I want to
That's
thank
interesting.
you. Anyone that's watching this, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time.
Can we just say, if anybody, people could put comments on this to see what they thought? Because
Yeah.
I'd just be really interested in what people's comments are and how they thought about it. I think that would be really, really interesting just to see what people's thoughts are. If you watch
this, please subscribe and like.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers, Joe. Thank you.